Shalom. I am Rabbi Nathan Davidovich, speaking to you on behalf of the webyeshiva.org. This week's Parsha is Parsha Noach. Of course, in this Parsha, we have the story of Hashem bringing a flood to destroy civilization. And we have Noach, who's pointed out as Noach A ish tzaddik. He was a righteous person. We have a couple of interesting things. I just want to comment on a couple of different things about this Parsha. First of all, what was Noach commanded to do to be able to save himself and his family and living creatures from the deadly flood? He was commanded to make a Teva, an ark. And the dimensions are spelled out in the Torah as to how you make this ark. Everything that we see in the Torah isn't just an historical storytelling, but it has relevance to us today, to what we do today. A Teva is a place that protected Noach from the raging destruction around him. We Jews have a Teva that we can go to save us from the destruction around us. And that Teva is the Torah and mitzvos. The Torah is a place where we can go to feel safe, to get away from the destruction of the world around us, from the problems of the world around us. The Teva also teaches us, by its very construction, how a person has to live. You know, we say it says in the Torah, "Vasuli mikdash v'shechanti b'socham." I will make you you should make for me a mikdash, a sanctuary, and I will dwell in your midst. So in essence, each one of us is like a Teva. Now, what does that tell us as to how we have to act as a Teva? First of all, you look at the wording of the Chumash, and it says, "Aslucha tevas atse gofer, kinim tasas hateva v'chaparta oso mibayit b'chutz." It says it gives the dimensions of the Teva, of the ark, and says you have to cover it inside and outside with tar. Now, when the commandment about the Osli Mikdash is given, it says, you should make me a Mikdash, a sanctuary, and I will show you how to do it. But then it ends up by saying, V'tzipisa oso zahav tor, you shall cover it with pure gold, v'bayis umechutz titzapenu. From inside and outside, you shall cover it. In the Talmud, it's a midrash, I think, where it says, "Mibayit to be tzafo." "Mibayit to be chutz tzapenu," we should cover it inside and out. Rava says the following. He says, "Kol talmid chochem she'ein tocho kemoro eino talmid chochem." He talks about a Talmud Chacham, a person who is learned in the law, but more than that, he says anybody who is trying to be a good person cannot just do it externally. You've got to do it internally. You've got to be covered with this goodness, with the righteousness, both in and without, just like the Teva, just like the Mishkan, the sanctuary. And that's an important point that we all have to remember. It's not how we appear outwardly, but it's also how we appear inwardly. And only Hashem knows how we appear inwardly, but we have to make both of them consistent with one another. You can't be good on the outside and bad on the inside, or vice versa. You've got to be covered both ways. In the ark, there's an interesting commandment. God says, Vasili, he says, Vasili Tzohar, make it Tzohar. Make a Tzohar in the ark. Now Rashi comments, what is it, Tzohar? There's two different interpretations. One is that it's a window to the outside, and the second is that it's some kind of a precious stone that gives its own light. If we look at the interpretation of a window, all right, first of all, you would assume that if somebody's going to be cooped up for a year inside of a boat, inside of an ark, you're going to want to have some breathing space. So why does God have to command it? It would be a natural thing for Noach to do. So God commands it for a purpose. He commands it so that Noach can look out on the world. Well, what's he going to see? Total destruction. That's the point. We have to not only look within ourselves, we have to be able to look out at the world and see what is happening to the world. We can't be an island to ourselves and think that it's only what I do that matters, to the exclusion of everybody else. No man is an island. No person is an island. We are part of a human race. We have to look out and see the suffering. When we think that things are really bad for ourselves, open the window and look out and see what other people are suffering from. And you'll see that your baggage is the baggage you'd rather keep than what you see on the outside. So the window was for that. The window was for Noach to see what was happening, how the world was being destroyed, so that he could then rebuild the world after the flood stopped, after the rain stopped. So that's an interesting concept of the Tzohar, why we have a window. Another thing we learned from the Teva is that Noach brought in a male and female of every pure species, pure meaning those species that the Torah allows us to eat. And where were they kept? They were kept on one level of the ark. The ark had 3 different levels. Now, can you imagine all these different animals being in one space together and living harmoniously? It's kind of mind-boggling. It's almost like all of the people of this world trying to live in one space, one planet Earth, and living harmoniously. But the message of the Teva, message of the Teva was that, yes, it can be done. Noach did it. Noach did it. The animals lived harmoniously. It teaches us that if the animals can live harmoniously, we too, as human beings, as Jews and as a general humanity, can live in unity. Have to find unity amongst us. Stop looking for the divisiveness and let's look out the window and see what our connections are with one another. We're all children of one God. Going back to the concept of the Teva as Torah, it's also representative of Shabbos, because Noach represents Shabbos, because Noach discovered a way to make man rest from his toil by inventing the plow. It made work a lot easier. And it says Noach found rest. Rest, of course, is Shabbos. Shabbos is the greatest Teva for the Jewish people. On Shabbos, we go into Shabbos, it's like walking into a balloon, a self-encased balloon where the whole world is shut out. We're not bothered by the everyday, weekday things of the world. We're sitting content in our Teva. So we have a Teva of Shabbos, we have a Teva of Torah, and we have a window to look out to the suffering of everybody else and to bring them close to God, bring them close to comfort, not live as an island. Let us take these words to heart. Let us try to live in a way that the Tzohar, the shining light that we have within us, shines on the rest of the world. In your prayers, let your prayers shine. Let your prayers shine like the Tzohar, like the precious stone that was in the ark. Thank you for listening on behalf of the webyeshiva.org. I wish everybody a wonderful Shabbat and enjoy the Shabbat peace in your Teva of Shabbat.